And I understand why women say it's all men till it's no man. Because if I'm walking in the woods and I come across a pit full of snakes, I'm not going to take a chance to put my hand in there. I don't know which one's poisonous. I don't know which one's going to bite me. Same thing with women for men. She don't know which one's going to harm her. She don't know which one's going to essay her. She don't know which one's going to grape her, cause physically harm, or try to unalive her.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, at this point, I don't even argue with or entertain people who say not all men. When I say men, I don't say all men. I just say men as a general statement, and they want to argue and be combative with me. I don't argue with them because that just tells me that they're unlearned, they're ignorant, and they have not looked into what women are saying about men as a whole. And they don't care to know. They don't care to hear. These are the people that are putting their heads in the sand. These are mammies and pygmies and men who just do not care to learn what is going on around the world, especially between women and men right now. So let's get into these videos, and I'm going to let other people explain why people say all men or just say men. And nobody wants to take the time to say not all men anymore. We're not giving them that courtesy anymore. It's just men or it's all men, and that's what it is.
Now I understand what women say when they say it's all men, because it is all men. Anytime I've ever had a problem, it's usually a man. Anytime I've ever had any confrontation, it's usually a man. Every time I had a fight, it's usually a man. It is all men. Now pieces of shit, man. Endless wars, endless conflicts. Like, I just can't get it together, bro. I ain't going to lie. We need a female leader in office. 2028, we putting your baby mama in there. It's a wrap for you. I think you've done enough harm. You've done enough damage. Anytime somebody hops on my live and insults me, it's usually a man. No compassion, no empathy, no regard for other humans' lives. Just bombing the shit out of people. Now, to the men that don't do this, I'm not talking to you. I'm guilty of this shit. All of us are guilty of this shit, bro. We're being programmed.
He still had to stroke their egos by saying, to the men who don't do this, I'm not talking to you. And that's what women are doing out here too. When they're talking to men, I'm not talking about you. You'll try to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself.
Okay with your long-term monogamous partner going to a nightclub, bar, or party type environment where throughout the course of the night he's going to get approached, flirted with, and sexually pursued by numerous attractive women, some of which are more attractive than you and could potentially be a better partner than you, and these women are buying him drinks, getting him drunk, and enthusiastically want to sleep with him that night and steal him away from you. You're going to tell me you'd be okay with that?
Oh dear. Where do we begin with this one? You know when men are so close to the point and they don't realise it's going right over their head at the same time? To the men out there who have an issue with their partner, or would have an issue with their partner, going clubbing without them, I want you to imagine that you've just said everything that Brian has just said to your partner, and she responds with, not all men though. Not all men are going to try and get me drunk. Not all men are going to pursue me. Not all men are going to be interested in me for a schmexual reason. How as a man are you going to respond to your partner when she says to you, not all men? Men get so pressed on the phrase all men until no men that they don't realise they uphold it in the exact same way. When it benefits them, it's okay to use, but when it doesn't, it's not okay. You say that you can't generalise all men and put them in the same box when it comes to disproportionate harm, but then you're okay putting them all in the same box when it could be a potential threat to your relationship. Are you basically admitting that men are that bad? That men are going to behave in this way towards any women that they see at a club? That they're not capable of respecting boundaries and they're not capable of accepting rejection and handling it in an appropriate way? Because you trust your partner and you trust that if she was approached by any man in any circumstance that she would say no to him and that he would accept that, right? But of course, the real issue is when your partner, or if your partner goes clubbing without you, suddenly now any man that comes into contact with her, you're going to be worried about. Why is that? When it's your partner coming into contact with other men in a circumstance where you think, feel, and believe that there is a potential threat to your relationship, suddenly that is okay. But when women in general have a fear or wariness around men, suddenly that's not okay. Because it's not just a double standard, it's a contradiction. Men basically use all men until no men when it suits their narrative. They just don't like it when women say it.
I'm just saying, the issue is your taste. You keep picking the wrong men. You overlook the good ones. No, I picked a good one on purpose. He was kind, emotionally intelligent, or so I thought, right? He said all the right things. I felt safe, and then I find out he's a liar. I know, that's what I mean. Guys lie. They have to. Women don't even want what men actually want. You guys want relationships. Men just want spicy time. So we lie to just bridge the gap. You think that women don't understand that? Of course we do. Some of us even want the same thing, but the difference is we don't lie to get it. We say what we want. Yeah, but the women who want that aren't the ones we want. We have to play the part, be who she wants, so we get what we want. So your solution is manipulation? To lie. Well, it's not manipulation. It's just reality. It's a strategy. We play the game. No. It is manipulation. You're saying I'll pretend to be someone I'm not so I can get access to her body because if I told the truth, she wouldn't be down. So instead of accepting that, you just lie. Yeah, what else are we supposed to do? Walk away? Yes, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. If somebody doesn't want what you want, you don't get them. That's how consent works. It's not that simple. Listen to me. Honest men are okay with not getting everything that they want. They know that someone else's autonomy isn't some friggin' obstacle for you. It's a boundary. Lying to go through that, that's not clever. That's coercive. That's abusive. You're making it sound so much worse than it is. I'm not saying that it's every guy. Actually, you're describing it like it's common, right? Like this is normal. This is just how men operate. Look, we just want to sleep with women. If we were upfront about that, you wouldn't do it. Well, then maybe that woman's not for you. That's what adults do. They deal with disappointment. They don't lie to get someone. Listen, I'm just saying that you all should know that men lie to get what they want. That's on you if you fall for it. You expect us to know that men lie as a standard? Yeah, we've been doing it forever. All men? Okay, so it's not that we're picking bad men, right? It's that some of you are really good at lying and we can't tell. Did you know women aren't human lie detectors? You say it's women's fault for not spotting liars, but you just admitted that lying is the plan.
Videos on TikTok that has the prompt all men be 99% accurate. Whenever I come across prompts like that, I think to myself, yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. And in some way, it does make me feel upset. This emotion I feel automatically goes into defense mode. Depending on how you control and direct your emotions, you can come off defensive. So whenever I see live videos like this, I take a second, I set aside my emotions for a moment, and I think about this deeply. Who is this referring to? And then it occurred to me, the lights have finally flicked on for the third time of rearranging the wires. It is a trap for the men who are misogynistic. You need to establish enough emotional intelligence to understand that that prompt is not directly to you. But how would you come up with this emotional intelligence, you might ask? By off the desperate need of wanting to defend yourself. This is why the all men statement is such a great tactic. It draws out the misogynist, and it puts them on full display of who they are. And most of the time, these misogynistic men lacks understanding and emotional intelligence. And just like that, on full display, they are set on the record. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody can predict what they're going to say next. Oh, get back in the kitchen and cook me a sandwich. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is get them riled enough, just enough, to where it will expose them right then and there in front of everybody that they are still deeply enrooted and misogyny. Because if you cared, bothered, educated yourself, the heart or the desire to understand what the purpose of all men is, you can come to the simple understanding that you need to educate yourself on why that is. The system that was created by men is oppressive to all people of society. It includes hardworking men, poor men, veteran men, women, children, etc. And then some will say, well, what about black men? What about other men of color? Ever so slightly. Even though, yes, black men and other men of color do face a disadvantage when it comes to white men, doesn't fully erase the possibility of you escaping. It doesn't fully separate you from the possibility of earning that privilege. Privilege? What privilege? Oh, come on. Let's not act dumb here. Murder, rape, sexual assault, harassment, or even getting a job with lower requirements compared to the woman who had higher requirements than you. Especially if she is a black woman or another woman of color. Perhaps getting that pay raise compared to another woman when you clearly didn't deserve it. Sometimes you can even prove your own self right by simply scrolling on TikTok and see a Republican that's saying, you know, we wouldn't have tariffs in the United States if women just wasn't working. Of course, it was a white Republican man with a cross in the background. Of course. In that chat was 500 viewers and men filled in the comments, agreeing with him on the fact. And that's when lightning finally hit Metal, is that all of these little parasites in these group chats and lives, these are all the men. All the men who are unable to control their sexual urges and desires. Men who lack emotional intelligence and understanding. Men who are conquered and overpowered by wrath or fury and think it is manly to be the loudest or the angriest in the room. Just like that, the term all men is not directed towards men, but men itself. The definition of what a man is needs to be recreated, reshaped, redesigned, and resculptured into what a man's supposed to be. At the end of the day, I understand it's not directed towards me. No. It's directed towards you, whoever you may be. I understand that men from all over the world for thousands of years, especially in Europe, have been pillaging, raping, stealing, and enslaving women and children for the longest time. Some will argue, well, it was the men that was defending these women. And then my argument to that would be true. However, those same men that protects their women goes into another village and do the same thing that those men would do to them. While there are some men who will defend their honor, their home, their women, and don't even think about pillaging, raping, or enslaving. And those men are the rare kind of men that are very hard to come by. And those men, ladies and gentlemen, is not the men that other women are referring to. Then again, if you knew anything about history, the answer is self-explanatory. I'm gonna get some food. See y'all next time.
I really need y'all to stop saying some men. I need y'all to stop saying not all men. Baby, it's all of them. All of them. To varying degrees, but all of them. You know, either you're going to be manipulated, gaslighted, lied to, right? The next tier, you might get cheated on, right? Verbal, yelling, talking to you crazy. Okay, and then that next day, they knocking your ass, your head through the washer and the dryer. It is all of them. All of them. To varying degrees. Right? And the ones who ain't got none of those issues, who are emotionally mature, they're the unicorns. They're the unicorns. They're the ones that are married. Right? So baby, it's all men. Because what that does, right, as women, it tricks us, and we go into each situation thinking that this man is not all men. Right? Not some men, not all men. They're the good guy. Right? So our guard is down because we're automatically setting this man to the other side, right? We are. So stop doing that. It's all men. It's all of them. All of them.
I hate when bitches be like, oh, men don't know how crazy other men are because they never see that side of them. Yes, we do. We know when a man is a fucking creep. But the thing is, y'all bitches just don't listen. Tell my homegirls all the fucking time, if a dude literally does such and such and such, he's a fucking creep. A nigga you know knows you and he just catcall you. He's a fucking creep. Given a fucking chance, he will. Yeah. The thing is, y'all get mad when men like me tell you. And the thing is, that's the reason a lot of the time dudes don't give two shits no more after, shit falls. When shit happens, I'm one of those motherfuckers. I personally, I'll feel bad that it happened to you, but I won't feel bad that you fell for the trap. Because at the end of the motherfucking day, I told you what to look out for. And then as soon as I saw the biggest red flag that your ass tend to ignore, or wanted to ignore, you not to fucking call me a dickhead or whatever you want. Rude, all that shit. Inconsiderate, whatever. I told you. And I gave you the mental awareness of how other men act. That's not me. And I could tell you all the time what a creep of a man looks like. That's on you to not fucking listen and understand. That's the problem. Y'all bitches think y'all know everything. No, y'all don't.
So he's absolutely telling the truth about women not listening. Although he hates women and doesn't like women, he is telling the truth. And I know this because I make these videos all the time about these women coming online saying that my husband didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. And then women are in the comments trying to tell her, oh, he's cheating on you. Oh, he hates you. Oh, he doesn't love you. But women don't listen. They will ignore it. They will turn off their comments, and then they will go in on the women who are trying to tell them the truth. So women don't want to see the truth about these men a lot of the time. Like the woman that posted that her husband, she's 6 months pregnant, and her husband gave her a raw hamburger on purpose, trying to kill her and the baby. And she wasn't listening to the women in the comments and turned off her comments and defended him. These videos happen all the time. The woman that was gone for 4 days and came back and her husband had left the house a mess. The kids were a mess and dirty, hair wasn't combed. It's just so many videos like this on TikTok where women do not listen. So I agree with him. Not only do women not listen to other women most of the time when they are in a relationship, they are definitely not going to listen to a man. And this is what we call dickmatized, ladies and gentlemen.
All men are men. Hashtag, yes, all men. When I talk about men, I am including all men in that category. So I'm including tall men and short men and old men and young men, and men of every race, religion, and creed is included in the category of man. I am including men who conform to stereotypes that we have about masculinity. I am including men who do not conform to those stereotypes of masculinity. I am being very inclusive when I use the term man, because I am including all adult human males in that category. I refuse to use the term biological male because all kinds of males beyond just men are included in the term biological male. Male fruit flies are biologically male. Male ginkgo trees are biologically male. The only males that are men are adult human males. So that's a very specific category. And there are 0 men who I allow to opt out of that category. If you are a adult human male, you are a man. You can't opt out of that category. It is your physical circumstances. And I don't care about gender identity. You're a man. I don't care what your gender identity is. You're a man if you are an adult human male. And when it comes to the integrity of women's spaces and sports, all men are excluded from the category of woman based on their fact of their being a man. Believing that some men are not men is a supernatural belief that I just don't participate in. So I don't think anyone needs to, and just keep speaking reality and speaking physical circumstances. All right, thanks so much.
You say not all men, but I don't think you quite understand what you're saying. Not all cars crash, not all fires are fatal, not all guns get shot, but wouldn't you still feel ill at ease if you saw one loaded and you were looking down the barrel? Wouldn't the idea of something going wrong still linger in your mind even if you knew it could go right 9 out of 10 times? Wouldn't you rather hold your keys between your fingers just in case he ever tried to get a little bit too close? See, the average man loves to say that he's not harmful, he would never hurt anyone, he can't imagine putting someone in that situation, but that same man will watch his buddy do it and laugh about it later. That same man will tell his friend to buy her another drink even after she says no, because maybe her answer will change with a higher BAC. Maybe her words will be too slurred to tell. That same man will defend him saying he was drunk too, she was flirting earlier, he's always been a nice guy, she was wearing a mini skirt. He doesn't need to be a predator to be an accomplice. He doesn't need to force himself on anyone to perpetuate her fear of men. All he needs to do is nothing. And if all men do nothing, then they win.
She chose those men. The men were trash AF and she chose them. Yeah, this is about my mother. Y'all just will not admit that men have shit that they need to work on as a group. Instead, it's only a small minority. Like you said further on down in the comment chain. Oh, it's just a small minority. Or, oh, she could have chose better. One of the things that both my biological and stepfather were really good at doing was hiding how abusive they were by being very nice and kind in public. My stepfather was the life of the party until we got home. And the craziest part about this is that you probably think that you're a good man to pick.
Women are right to say it's all men till it's no men. I don't understand why dudes be getting offended at that. You know just how bad men have been throughout history and how men are today. But somehow when a woman says it's all men till it's no men, you find offense. It's not all men. Shut up. Understand what she's saying, bro. She gotta walk outside and look over her shoulders every day as a woman. Men, we don't do that. We don't. As a matter of fact, you are not afraid of a woman doing something to you. You're not. But who you will look out for is another man. Matter of fact, when y'all give advice to women, y'all always give advice to what? What to watch for in men. When that is literally admitting that men are the problem as a collective group. Throughout society, throughout history, in today's time, men are the problem. That's why when y'all be doing this whole both sides argument, bro, it's harm happening on both sides. Not to the same extent. It's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna add up. Never. And then it'd be funny when the dudes be trying to justify it. Well, testosterone is what make men violent. Just dumb talking points, bro. Come on now, y'all gotta stop trying to gaslight these women, bro. Men are the problem. That's why when we as men be talking about accountability towards women, bro, leave the women alone. Start focusing more on men, because men are the overwhelming majority of the problem. 9 times out of 10 times. Start with the men, bro. The men is who need to be taking accountability. You need to start with the men. Stop starting with the lesser of two evils and address the majority, because men are the majority of the problems in society. Point blank, period. You can get mad at all you want.
I am now starting to realize why women get so mean with guys that walk up to them and flirt with them. I just had this experience yesterday. I want you to keep in mind that I am a 6'2", 235-pound big black man. Keep that in mind. I am at the dog park yesterday, and I am just letting my dog run free. This is my happy time. When I get to watch that little motherfucker that cost me so much money run his ass up and down the motherfucking park and get tired so we can go home and get some sleep. I am there watching him play, minding my business, actually waiting for some other people I know at the dog park to show up, right? There's this guy that sees me, and he comes over and starts to compliment my dog. No problem at all there. I compliment his dog. We briefly started to talk. Now, as soon as we get done just briefly telling each other's our dogs' names, we ask each other's name. So he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't even get your name. Sorry about that. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. This happens at the dog park. We know the dog's name before we know the owner's name, which is true. So I said, I'm Dom. What's your name? For the purpose of this story, we're going to say that his name was Bernard. I know y'all like, bitch, Bernard. Hold, it's all I can think of right now, okay? That's not the point of the story. So I was like, oh, hey, how you doing, Bernard? Nice to meet you. This is not only maybe 2 minutes into us talking. This man says to me, and I quote, it's nice to meet you, Dom. Oh, you are delicious. I would eat you up and never spit you out. I would gag on you. Hello? Now, mind you, I just met this man. So him saying all this shit is crazy to me. It is crazy. And in the dog park, bitch. In the dog park? So I just kind of laugh it off, right? You know, I'm just kind of like, oh my God, friend. Oh my God, it's not chew me up and spit me out or whatever you said. Like, that's crazy. So I just ignored it, tried to make a little joke of it, kept on moving on with the conversation, right? Here he goes again with another freak, disgusting, makes me very uncomfortable conversation piece. He's like, I just bet you just waiting for somebody to come and like please you, huh? I bet you nobody can probably do you the way you want to be done. I'm like, oh friend, I'm a thank you. I appreciate the compliment and stuff. I'm not really looking for that. I'm not into that, but I appreciate the compliment. Because what the fuck do I even say to that? What do you mean, sir? And why would you think, what? So, okay, I just cut the conversation there. I started going off playing with my dog, right? Obviously, I am not interested in whatever you are trying to sell. I'm not buying that shit. So I walk off. 5 minutes later, he walks back up to me. Okay. So then he's like, so what are you doing after this? You know, like, maybe you want to come back to my place, and, you know, I grow these like fruits on my tree, and like, you know, it's real juicy, and I bet you and my fruit can relate. I'm like, I am good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, friend. I'm not interested at all. I'm okay. Thank you. At that point, I made it very clear. I am not interested at all. I would like to end this interaction. Please move along, right? Okay. Here is where it gets almost to where I had, bitch. So I walk off again, right to the other side of the dog park. He comes over 10 minutes after I walk off back to me and says, hey, so what's your number? You know, like, let's keep in touch. What the fuck are you talking about? And this is what I mean by, now I understand why women get rude with men from the get-go. Because with this guy, I tried to be so nice, y'all. I tried to even call him friend just to make sure he knew, listen, I'm not attracted to you, but we can be cool and friends and shit. We can talk shit at the dog park, you know. We can do those type of things, but sexually, I am not into you like that. Romantically, I'm not into you like that, sir. I'm not being mean. I'm just not into you like that. It's not like I wasn't clear with my intentions the entire time. Of all, I'm visibly uncomfortable with these disgusting sexual remarks. And then secondly, I have told you I'm not interested. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm good. Thank you. Goodbye. And I walk off. And I just started to think to myself after that interaction, because after that, I was just like, bro, please get away from me. And he was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I just thought I was catching a vibe. You ain't thought you was catching a motherfucking thing over here. So then as soon as I start to quote unquote butch up and just have to remind you that I am 6'2" and 2, bitch, I just started to think about how women probably have to automatically straight through the door have to be rude like that. Because look at what happened as me, as a big black guy, having to constantly tell this guy over and over again, I'm not interested, right? But he knew not to get too crazy with me. Bitch, we weren't even in the same weight class, so we're not gonna even do that. But I think about these weird ass guys that's out here, and this is just across the board, straight, gay, whatever the fuck it is. But really, I point this to my women, because they are most of the time a lot shorter than us, a lot more like weight-wise skinnier than us, right? And they have to sit up here and be so forceful with these big old guys, right? And that just made me automatically just think, y'all, that's why I'm always gonna be a girl's gay every single fucking time. And you hoes can call it pandering, you hoes can call it whatever the fuck you want to, but no is no. If I visibly see you making some girl uncomfortable after she has already told you no, because let's be clear, most of the time, I would almost say about 85% of the time, most people are going to start off nice and say, no, thank you. I appreciate the compliment, though that really wasn't a compliment. I am good. Thank you so much. For some reason, you weird ass motherfuckers do not want to catch the hint. And so now I'm going to start checking you bitches. Because if a weird ass dude would do that to somebody that's my height and my stature, then I just can imagine what my women have to go through on a daily basis with guys who cannot take rejection. This is why we have so many cases of women being assaulted and that's what pisses me off the most, is because you will have people that will try to shame women into saying, well, how come she just didn't do this? Or how come she just didn't do that? Let's be very fucking clear. No is no. No is no. And I don't even know out there as the pursuer, Man or woman, when somebody tells you no, what clicks in your mind that says, oh, you don't mean that shit? Where do you bitches come from? I am genuinely and authentically curious, where do you bitches come from? First off, if somebody is playing hard to get with you, bitch, sir, run. Why the fuck do you want to force something that is telling you no? No. Why do you want that? And don't come to me talking about something it's about the conqueror type of shit, bitch. That's why you motherfuckers have a male loneliness epidemic going on right now, bitch. Because you always chasing something that don't want you. But my story ended very quickly with that guy. Because I went with the fuck shit and we could have went there if you need that. If you need that. But to my girls out there, listen, if you ever are uncomfortable, sis, run to the nearest gay guy. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, he gonna have you, boo. He gonna have you. And that's why I see why other women always say protect other women, like be a girl's girl. I understand it. I've been understanding, but this is the first time I've went through this shit. And I was like, sir, you really don't understand how you're in danger, sir. Long story short, no is no. If somebody don't want you, back the fuck up or get smacked the fuck up. Period, point blank, bottom line. I'm gonna embarrass you motherfuckers from now on. Don't play with me. Don't play with her. Don't play with us.
I know there are so many people that will say this man is making this up, but no, I have experienced this before at my job with a male that I didn't know telling me that men that eat a lot of bananas, their cum tastes like bananas. Because I was actually eating a banana at the time, and he walked up to me, coincidentally, eating a banana. It was breakfast, so that was all I could grab, and I guess it was the same for him. Don't know this man, didn't know his name, I've seen him at work, and he spoke to me another time, and the first time we spoke, he told me that his girlfriend or his wife had like stage 4 cancer, and he was like asking me, was he wrong for wanting to have sex with her and she wasn't wanting to have sex? And I'm like, men actually do come up to people that they don't know or just met and start strange conversations. And then after the banana comment, I didn't see him anymore. He probably knew that I was uncomfortable. I didn't see him from that day on. I guess he quit because he probably had been up there harassing a lot of women. And I know at least 5 men. I've been on my job for 6 years. So I know at least 5 or 6 men who have gotten fired for like sexually harassing women on the job.
A woman says all men. She says all men are dangerous women. All men participate in grape culture. And then she receives thousands of messages threatening her with grape and saying she deserves to die, saying they hope she gets graped, saying, watch out because I'm going to come grape you. Thousands of messages from men. And you think you didn't prove my point? I'm confused. And then you're saying I deserved it. I deserved all of those grape threats and death threats for saying all men are dangerous. I fear you're so close to getting the point and somehow just not. It's just right over your head.
Skinny man, tall man, corporate man, men who wear Nike tracksuits, men who wear brunch boots, men who love their mamas, men who hate their mamas, poor man, rich man, men who like other men. It's all men. It's all men until it's no men. When we talk about racism, we don't say some white people are racist. We say white people are racist. Or when we talk about the police, we don't say some police officers. We say police officers grossly underserve Black and brown people. So why, when we talk about men, do they want a free disclaimer that releases them from the association from their brother's oppression? As long as men sit at the seat of privilege and benefit from the oppression of women, as long as men look the other way and remain complicit at the mistreatment of women and do nothing to speak up about it, it will be all men. If they don't like the way it sounds when we say all men, they need to speak up so we don't label them an op. And speak about what men are doing. Don't speak about what we say they are doing. These are our lived experiences. Otherwise, you're just 2 peas in the same oppressive pod. It's all men until it's no men. Decenter men, decenter outcomes. Keep it going, ladies. Men who have beards. Men who wear hats. Men who wear those little lift thingies in their shoes that make them a little bit taller. Men who...
lot of videos of women making videos about men, and a lot of the time they'll be super negative and super mean. And in response to that, it'll be a bunch of men getting mad. Like, for example, I seen a woman going live, and like her prompt thing said it's all men. Now, we all know what she means when she says it's all men. Pretty much during the live, she would have a bunch of men come up, and of course, the men were on the live talking about, it's not all men, stop generalizing us, da-da-da, of course. But y'all niggas gotta realize, these women deal with horrible people. A lot of women's perception of men comes from either people they've dated or family members, and these people that they interact with in their daily life are dead-ass horrible people. And a lot of the times, these women be dating ain't shit-ass niggas, and then get mad when they ain't shit-ass niggas. Be dating supervillains, and then want to generalize all men as if we all act like that. And even if the majority of men that they interact with on a daily basis is more so positive, the negative is always gonna outshine that. It's no different than some nigga getting on here talking about how much he hates women just because some girl cheated on him, or some nigga getting on here being a violent, misogynistic incel because he gets rejected by women. The nigga is projecting. Just because of a few small interactions with women he's had, he's generalizing all women. It's the same shit when women hate all men. The same exact shit applies when women say they hate all men. And I'll be honest, a lot of the times, women's reason for hating men is a lot more understandable than just some incel's reason being that he hates all women because girls reject him. But both parties are fucking losers. If you generalize an entire group of people just because of a few negative experiences that you had with that group of people, you're a fucking loser. You're doing that shit to justify your own bigotry. And it's the same exact type of thinking that white supremacists use. Oh, I seen a video of a bunch of fucking black people stealing, so I hate all black people now. That's no different than saying, oh, I've had a bad boyfriend in the past, so I fucking hate all men. Oh, some girl rejected me, so I hate all women.
So here's the issue with the it's just the men you're picking argument. I'm not talking about the men I'm picking. I didn't pick for my father to molest me and touch on me while I was in the shower at 4 years old. I didn't pick that. I didn't pick men trying to kidnap me after school and having to run away from a white van trying to kidnap me as a teenager. I didn't pick that. I just went to school and had to walk home. I just went outside. I didn't pick that. I didn't pick those men. I didn't pick the men who raped me in the projects and almost unalived me. I was a virgin. I didn't pick that. I didn't pick that. I didn't pick to have anxiety every time I go outside and I pass by a male and constantly have to look over my shoulder in case someone's behind me, afraid they're gonna strangle me or try to throw me into a dark alley or kidnap me or stab me or assault me. Every time a man passes me, my heart skips a beat because I'm not fucking sure what he's gonna do. I don't pick that. No, I'm not picking that either. I didn't pick that when I worked at a place called Code Green Solar, that one of my sales team managers was going to SA me and grab me up and try to grape me and leave bruises all over my neck and arms. I was just going to work. I didn't pick that. I was just working. I was just doing my job. I had to go to work, so... What can we say? Oh, stay home, women. Don't go outside, women. These things won't happen to you. Because you can't say it's the men I'm picking then, can you? Because I'm not picking those men or these circumstances. Don't go outside. Don't go to the grocery store. Don't go to school because you know colleges have some of the highest rates of SA. Don't join the military because you know the military has some of the highest rates of SA as well. Don't go outside at all, because literally every time we go outside, we're taking a chance with our fucking life. It ain't the men we're picking, it's just fucking men. I really hate when women globally as a collective speak on our identical experiences with the male species, and their rebuttal is you just ain't found the right one. You're just not picking the right men. Now, number one, nobody knows who somebody really is until you actually get to know them, and usually when you're already in too fucking deep. That's why you can literally be married to someone for years and not know that they're a serial killer or, you know, a fucking pedo behind your back. You don't know because people hide who they are. So number one, I can't look at someone's forehead and see a list of all the bad things that they have. I can only go by energy, body language, actions, and what this fucking person is saying to me. So women are picking people based on the image and facade that the men are portraying. They don't have fucking something on their forehead that says, hey, I'm a woman abuser. Hey, I'm a rapist. Hey, I'm a pedophile. Nobody's gonna outright tell you, oh, by the way, I beat all my ex-girlfriends. Oh, by the way, I'm an S-offender. Like, no. So how are we gonna know how to pick them when the picking process is deceptive? And there's no way to truly know who the fuck you're picking in the first place. That's number one, okay? Number two, with that being said, the picking process is exhausting. Who the fuck wants to keep going dumpster diving, hoping you're gonna find something good? Who wants to keep sifting through the garbage, hoping to find something good? It's a lot of work and effort. Especially when we're older and we have children and other things to deal with. Do you really think we have the fucking energy? The little bit of energy we have left for ourselves. Do you really think we have that type of energy to keep chasing after trying to find a man? You think we're gonna keep doing it over and over? If I keep going to the casino and losing, you think I'm gonna keep going back to the casino? How many gambles are we gonna take with our life? At some point, the gamble ain't fucking worth it. It's like playing Russian roulette. And sometimes, when us women play this Russian roulette gamble of trying to pick a decent guy, the Russian roulette, the bullet be loaded sometimes. And women don't get their life back. They don't come back from that. Women are literally gambling with their lives and their kids' lives every time we try to find a potential male suitor. Every fucking time. And nobody is trying to waste this tiny bit of precious time we have on earth. It's not fucking much. We are not trying to waste it trying to find this man. Y'all is gonna tell bitches when they're 70, oh, y'all just don't know how to pick them. A bitch could pick 1,000,000 guys, and out of all the 1,000,000 guys, they could all suck. And a man will still say, oh, you just don't know how to pick them. Sir, we don't feel like it. It's too much work picking y'all. It's a lot of work. Trying to find this man through trial and error and taking a gamble with my life every time. A gamble with my mental health. A gamble with my fucking punani health. Every time. What? At some point, it's just not worth that effort, bro. It's really not. For what? What are we gaining? We don't gain. We lose. And for what? Love? What are you going to offer that we can't give to ourselves? Other than penis? And honestly, I don't even come from penetration. I don't orgasm from penetration. I only orgasm from clitoris stimulation. So that penis don't mean a goddamn thing to me, if you want to be fucking honest. There's really no other purpose. Y'all not capable of love. And nobody's about to sift through tons and tons of garbage to keep trying to find something shiny and good in it. No. Oh, there are men out there who will love and good. Ain't nobody got time. All the women in the world ain't got time to try to be searching through that 0.001% of men that are good.
I believe that women should all be cautious when dealing with men, because you never know what that man's intentions are. He can be faking his entire personality. He can be taking advantage of you. He can be calling you things behind your back and all of these things. And he can be using you for your labor and not compensating you for it. That's ridiculous to say. You're saying that all men are the same. That's ridiculous. Not all men are the same. Not all men, not all men. Hey Dad, this is my new boyfriend. His name is Jim. New boyfriend? Why do you have a boyfriend? Well, because I like him and he likes me, you know? We like each other. Can I speak to you in private for a second, sweetheart? I don't know about this man. I don't trust him. He's giving me off vibes. You can't date him. But Dad, he brags about me, you know, he loves me, he takes me out on dates. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you seeing him because I know what he wants. All men want the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry, what? What'd you say? I said all men want the same thing and he's not about to get that thing from my daughter. Oh, but weren't you the same man in my comments saying that all men aren't the same? Not all men? Well, yeah, but this is different. This is my daughter you're talking about. Okay, and you said not all men are bad, though. You said not all men, you know. She shouldn't be cautious of any men, right? If we're going by your logic. Yeah, but. You're just proving my point. So it's okay for other men to be cautious of other men, because it's okay for men to know other men's intentions. But when women talk about it, suddenly it's an issue. Suddenly it's not all men.
One of the worst things that you can tell a woman is choose better men. And I know for a lot of us as men, that sounds like reasonable advice. Be more intelligent, be smarter, don't ignore the red flags, don't fall for the wrong guy, pick better men. But it's nonsense and it's not helpful advice for one main reason. That main reason is men do not come with warning labels. The problem with telling women to choose better men is that it assumes you can spot them in time. But what if you can't? Toxic men don't show up in your life with a shirt that says, I'm gonna ruin your life. They don't show up in your life with letters on their forehead that say, I'm gonna manipulate you by the first month. Typically, they start out very sweet, very charming, like everything you've ever wanted in a man, and then the mask slips. By the time the mask slips and she's now emotionally invested, she feels stuck. wondering if she's overreacting, wondering if she's overthinking, wondering if she should be second guessing her instincts or not. And when she finally gets out, that's when she hears it. Well, you should have chose a better man. The problem is not poor judgment. The problem is some people are experts and champions at hiding who they are until it's too damn late. Another problem with the idea of choosing better men is that it places all of the responsibility on the woman while letting the man do whatever it is that he wants. Be smarter, look out for the red flags, really watch out for who you're hanging out with, when in all reality, men could just be decent and women wouldn't have to be playing detective. Now, I understand that there are women who do see the red flags and still dive into the situation head first. I'm not talking about those kind of women. I'm talking about the women who are genuinely manipulated and women who are lied to. That's what I'm talking about. If you didn't know the red flags were there because the man was that good at hiding them, that is what I'm talking about. The real solution is not to tell women to choose better men. The real solution is to be better men. Think about it for a moment. Imagine if you were out here dating and the people who you were dating, you had to go through loopholes and do all of this investigation to see whether or not they're decent. That shit has to be exhausting. Just be better men. That way women wouldn't be playing this detective position. So if you're a dude and you have friends and you know that your friends are on some bullshit behavior, they have a girlfriend and they're checking other women out, flirting with other women, call them out on it. It starts with us. Call them out on their shitty behavior. Expose it so they feel some sort of conviction. The real question shouldn't be why are women choosing bad men. The real question should be why are bad men outnumbering good men. I know there's good men out there. I've met plenty and I know plenty. It's just that they're scarce and rare, so it's tough to pinpoint which ones are good and which ones are
just date better men. It seems like women just pick the shittiest men and then work to try to change them. Why don't you just find better men?
What is the definition of a better man? What is the definition of a good man? The definition of somebody that you would say is marriage material, father material. Because what that definition is a man that works, a man that doesn't cheat on his wife, a man that doesn't beat her, a man that fathers children. That is the definition of better men, which is so below bare minimum for being in a relationship of any kind. It's giving like, well, I stayed home and babysat the kids for you so that you could go to the grocery store. We're supposed to look at that and be like, swoon. That's not swoon worthy. That's dusty. Those are literally like basic decency of like any human. Men just love to tell us like, we'll find better men, but then their definition of it is so bare minimum, and we're just expected to be like thankful and grateful and blessed to have such a bare minimum man. Society has really taught us that like women are supposed to get married and have babies and just accept this subpar standard of the dating pool because our mothers did it and their mothers did it. And if we expect too much, we're never going to get married and we're never going to have kids. And what a sad, unfulfilled life that would be for us. Because we should simply be grateful that a man even wants to entertain us, to take us out on a date. Like we're supposed to give up our livelihoods, our independence, to marry a man and then bear his children so that he can be a completely hands-off participant and father. Because that's where the expectations are for them. And we are just supposed to pick up all of it. We're supposed to also now go to work because it's really difficult to live on one income anymore. And then we're supposed to come home and we're supposed to cook dinner and do the dishes and put the kids to bed and clean the house and then be a good wife and satisfy our man whenever he wants. Because lucky for us, he's a good man and he doesn't go out and cheat on us, but he might. He might if you're not fulfilling your wifely duties and doing it at home. He might go get it somewhere else. And then what? Then you're just a single mom. You should have been a better wife. If you'd have just kept your mouth shut and done what everybody else has to do, you wouldn't be in this position. You see the discrepancies? You see the difference in expectations of men and women, mothers and fathers, husbands and wives? There's not going to be better men until society holds men to a higher standard. Because right now you're all just getting away with being shit. Women are tired of accepting that. Women are tired of being forced to just believe that. And they're not settling anymore, remaining single and childless because they don't need a marriage or children to live a fulfilled life.
I watched a live TikTok where the creator had the background image say something like, "It's all men. Feel free to request and join the conversation so you can prove me right." And I listened to like a half a dozen young men from the ages of like 25 to 35 join in and immediately throw tantrums and proceed to prove this woman right by saying things like, well, why is it all men? Why is it all men? Why is it all men? And the sin to them is the assumption that it's all men and not understanding what that means from the perspective of practical safety. And I have had conversations with guy friends of mine who are like, well, I'm a good guy. And I have to tell them, like, okay, sure, you're quote unquote a good guy. We'll get there. If I gave you a pack of M&Ms and 1 out of 100 M&Ms gave you diarrhea, would you ever buy a pack of M&Ms again? No. Okay, cool. You're on the way. 1 out of 4 women has had something terrible happen to them. They have had someone force themselves on them. 1 out of 4. And every one of those dudes, for the most part, wasn't some guy like waiting in the bushes to jump out and attack them. Most of those guys were people that they thought could be trusted. 1 out of 4. There's a reason that women are scared to walk to their cars at night. There's a reason that women send their girlfriends pins of their location when they meet people from online dating. There's a reason women ask for your last name so they can run background checks. Because I've had friends tell me, hey, this guy didn't give me his real name, and I called him out on it, so then he stopped talking to me. It's a problem. And those of you that are quote-unquote good guys, you're standing on the sidelines, and you're making this harder because you're throwing tantrums by going, oh, it's not all men. You're part of the problem too. And it doesn't have to be that hard. But as you sit there continuing to be part of the problem and throwing a tantrum rather than going, you know what, maybe it is on me to actually, demonstrate that I'm safe before I get a temper tantrum because someone doesn't assume I'm a safe, good guy. Do you know why I never have problems with this? Because I know I'm a safe person. So I don't get piss pants when someone needs to make sure that I'm safe first. I give them that distance they need so that they can know, hey, you're actually safe with me. I'm not going out and doing creepy things while talking about, oh, I'm such a good guy and no one will give me a chance. That's nonsense. Every one of you dudes that are out here standing on the sidelines talking about, quote unquote, a good guy, you're not actually a good guy. You're objectively part of the problem.
Okay, let's be real, y'all. When it really boils down to the nitty gritty, it's not about the guns. It's not about the war. It's not about the mental health. It's about men. Men create all of this chaos. Like, we live in a patriarchy. It's male dominated. Who is in power? Everywhere. All over the world. Men. Who controls laws and everything that goes on around the world? Men. Who is the top dog in religion that's supposed to be the leader and make all the choices and decisions and this and that? Men. I'm not shaming. I'm just stating facts. The reason why we have so much chaos in this world is because of men. Now, this is also not to negate the fact that there are some psycho women out here, of course. However, we are psycho because of men. That's just a fact. If women ruled the world, We all know that the world will be a better place. This is facts, because we don't operate from the same type of level that men operate. We are natural nurturers. We care about the planet and the environment, and not just about making money that is fake, that holds no value besides the value that we give it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love money, but I only love money because we live in a world where you need money. If I didn't need money, I wouldn't love money. I would just love living. Simple as that. But since we live in a male-dominated society where it's all about what they say, I play the game. I play the game. But when it really boils down to the nitty-gritty, men are the reason for all of this. It's literally a mental game we have to play when it comes to this world and men. You have to be 1,000 steps ahead when it comes to these men. And a lot of the work I do involves men, so you gotta play the game or you will get played. So I ask you again, is it the guns and the mental health and all the other stuff, the war and stuff, that's the problem? Or is it these?
You know how I know that men know that it's all men? Because they inherently teach us that it is. Typically, when fathers raise their daughters, they're teaching their daughters not to trust men. Typically, when men are with their wives, they're telling their wives not to trust their male co-workers and male counterparts. They're telling their wives not to go out jogging late at night. Watch what you wear. Yeah. To protect us from who? Other men, correct? Typically, our brothers and our uncles tell us not to trust men. Our brothers don't want us talking to their homeboys because they know that their friends are dogging women out, lying to women, manipulating women, cheating on women, cheating on their girlfriends and wives. Yeah. Knocking women up and getting them pregnant, not helping them take care of them children. Yeah, our homeboys and our brothers know that shit. That's why they don't want us talking to them. Stop saying that it's not all men, because we know it's not all men. We know that there are good men and good fathers and good male role models and advocates in the community. But that is far few in between compared to the numbers and compared to the statistics and compared to the actual real life events of women experiencing healthiness and positivity within these romantic relationships, within these friendships, within the household, with their family. Out of the 10, it's probably 2 okay ones, 2 decent ones. And that is a strong maybe. What a lot of men think is that because they're not raging red pill misogynists like the Andrew Tates or the Kevin Samuels or the Sneakos, like because y'all don't have big platforms and we don't know who you are, because a lot of men are quiet and they're not loud about what they do, because a lot of men maybe never slapped a woman or blacked her eye out, they seem to think that they're not misogynistic. And misogyny is a spectrum, just like racism. Some white people genuinely feel like they're not racist because they never said the N-word. They feel like they're not racist because they never typed the hashtag making fun of black people getting unalived by the police. They really feel like they're not racist because they have black friends, or they may have a black spouse or black wife or black husband. You know what I'm saying? They really feel like they're not racist, but deep down inside, they have biases about black people. They believe in respectability politics. You know what I'm saying? They sided with when Breonna Taylor was unalived and when George Floyd was unalived because, oh, he should have just complied, or, oh, they find loopholes with their racism. They do dog whistles. I'm sorry, you're a fucking racist. I don't care how many black cocks you suck. I don't care how many black women you fuck. I don't care how many times you wear those blue wristbands. You're a fucking racist. Because internally you feel superior to black people. You feel like black people shouldn't be in a position as you unless they do this, and this. They have to perform for you. You know what I'm saying? You assimilate to some white supremacist ways of thinking. You don't have to say the N-word ever in your life to be racist. But you think, walk, and talk with the mindset of racist people, so you're a racist. Just like the misogynistic ass men. Y'all think, walk, and talk like the raging red pill rhetoric. Maybe you're not saying it out loud that you would slap a bitch, but you on that spectrum where you side with certain things. Oh, she should have never wore that out the house. I'm not saying he supposed to S8 her, but she still had on some revealing clothes. So I just feel like you're a misogynist. You say dog whistles. You're softcore. It's softcore misogyny. Yes. I hate to break it to you. A lot of y'all men don't feel like y'all are misogynistic because you never slapped a bitch in the face. Or you never S8 a woman. But you side and you align yourself with the men who do those things. You find reasons for why women could be at fault. You victim blame. You're misogynistic. You're misogynistic, my nigga. That's the bottom line. Softcore misogyny, yeah. Micro misogyny. And I watched a video of a YT man who was SAing his daughter. And when he was in the investigation room, every sign pointed to the fact that this man was SAing his daughter. From the sweating, to his mannerisms, to the way that he responded to the questions they were asking him. Everything pointed out that he was SAing his daughter. When the police got to the house to investigate the stuff that the daughter said that he had to prove that he was SAing her, they could not find the items because the little girl had already revealed what the items were. So the father had time to go home after getting out of the investigation room and throwing that shit away. So when a police went to go search for it, these are male police officers, by the way, one of the officers said, maybe she's lying. An 11-year-old girl who described vividly how her father was having sexual relations with her. The officer went to the house to find the items, and because he couldn't find the items right then and there, he said, maybe this girl is lying. So when y'all say that men are not misogynistic, but we have people who are supposed to protect us, who are majority males in male spaces, police officers, military informants, yeah, these are the same men that are abusing women and children. But I don't think that majority of men are misogynistic or majority of men are abusive or mentally unstable. When the stats and the statistics show even men in power are doing most of the abusing. But not all men though, right?
You know how I know that men know it's all men? I know that men know it's all men because when you have these conversations with men and you think about how men talk about other men, you will no doubt come to the conclusion that men know it's all men. I'll give you a bunch of examples, right? Men know it's all men. So one of them is the body count discussion, because for every body that a woman sleeps with, every man that a woman sleeps with, her value goes down, which means what? The man is the thing that devalues the woman. So boom, there you go there. And that's just generally, they're just applying that to men. In general, it has nothing to do with the woman. They think it does, but in all reality, it has everything to do with the character of the man. It's number two, men, when they talk to their daughters and other women in their lives, they tell them that men ain't shit. They tell them that they need to get money, you know, they man need to have money. If a man not paying for you, he don't like you and and all that stuff. And they are the biggest deterrents a lot of times, like fathers and uncles. They're the biggest deterrents for women in their lives dating men and being with men, because they tell the women straight up, niggas ain't shit. Another example is when you're having a conversation with the man and you don't agree with him. As a man, I'm saying me as a man, you don't agree with him. He is saying something that's very misogynistic and you're just like, nah, that's not true. Or he's trying to lie on a woman or lie on women in general. And you're like, that's not true. I don't agree with that. That's not true. You know, that's not true. They will say, oh, you're gay, right? So heterosexual men can't respect women. If you are a heterosexual man and you respect women, you can't be heterosexual. You have to be gay, right? Men also, when they talk about how a woman dresses and they say that they're trying to, you know, they don't look at it as control when they tell a woman like how to dress or whatever, because they're trying to protect the woman. You're trying to protect the woman from men. Like you're just saying, like when she goes outside, This is like, men will literally say to me, because I'm like, I would never tell my wife how to dress. They'll be like, oh, but you know how men are. You know how men are. Bro, be for real. You know how men are. Okay, so you're saying, generally speaking, men are fucking predators. You're saying, generally speaking, that if a woman dresses a certain way, men will not respect her and they will try to harm her. Well, I thought it was only 2% of men are scary and violent. Like, if only 2% of men are so scary and violent, then why are you so worried about a woman going outside in a miniskirt? If it ain't all men, why are you so protected? You think these women are gonna? What are the odds that these women are gonna run into the 2% of men anytime they go outside dressed a certain way? Where are the odds of that? Super duper low, right? You're saying it's only 2% of men. So again, it's proof that you guys think that it's all men. Men know it's all men. Men know that men ain't shit. We know that. With everything you say and do about women, you reveal that you actually know men ain't shit, right? The question then becomes, why do you guys get so upset when women say men ain't shit though? That's the question. And the answer to that is because though you know men ain't shit, you know that, right? So you use that as a way to manipulate and control women, again, proving that you ain't shit, that you're one of the ain't shit men. You use that to manipulate and control women's behaviors, right? That's the reason why you do that. And you need for those, you need for most men to remain shitty so that you can get away with remaining shitty.
Okay, hi TikTok. I'm probably going to catch some heat for this one because do you know what it is? All men. And I can immediately hear loads of people go, it's not all men, and it's going to be the guys going, it's not all men, maybe a few women, because some have said it to me. But what I'm going to say is really important because it is to 90% plus of women, potentially all men. Now, I only got this about 10 or 12 years ago, and there was a specific incident in the UK. I think it involved a UK politician. I can't remember the details now. But I remember having conversations with my girlfriend at the time. And because I listened to her experience of life, I suddenly realized that just because I know I'm a nice guy, that woman in the lift that I get, or elevator, that I get into, where she's on her own and we're both in there together, she does not know that I am a nice guy, that I am not going to attack her, that I am not going to rape her. Okay? Yeah, I used that word. Now, here's the thing. What we have to do as guys, and I understand the temptation, okay? I'm single, I'm still relatively healthy, I get attracted to women. And I remember an incident not very long ago, and I was in a hotel overnight. So let's just put the scenario. So hotel, overnight, strangers, lift door, elevator door opens. I'm going to step in, and there is an absolutely stunning woman in the elevator already. Stunning. Every instinct in me is to try and converse with her, attract her, do something. No. What I did, I acknowledged her, sort of kind of like, hi. I turned and I faced down, put my head down, looked into the opposite corner of the elevator. I stood as far away as I could from her and looked down into the corner of the elevator. Because right there and then, I was a potential threat. Now, I don't know that she was thinking that, but I know enough now and understand, and I've heard it enough from women to know that there's a 90% chance that she would have slightly gone on to edge the moment I got into that elevator. The best, the most human, the most caring, supportive thing I can do at that moment is to reduce the threat. I didn't understand until I spoke to my girlfriend about carrying keys in your hand when you're walking down the street on your own at night, when you've come back from work. The fact that a guy walking towards you, or potentially even worse, you can hear the footsteps behind you. You don't know who it is. You don't know whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. And this is what I mean about it is all men. All men are the potential threat. And we need to understand that, guys. We really need to get a hold on this. And I don't care about your bravado or your machismo or any of that bollocks. If we are going to treat 52 or 51% of the population of the world fairly and equally, we have to respect their experience. And this is women's experience of men. There are enough of us who are dangerous, who attack, who even when, let's say I'd spoken to that woman in the lift, an elevator, and I'd said something very nice and polite, and she's responded nice and politely, and how do I know she's not doing it just to be nice, to calm me down? Because if she says something nasty or aggressive, like, please don't talk to me, maybe I'll attack her. I'm physically stronger, I'm bigger. She was about 5'5". I'm 6 foot. Guys, we need to learn this. We are the threat. We also need to realize that how we behave in groups can be very intimidating. And we need to make sure that our buddies are getting the message as well. And this is the hard bit. But guys, we need to get the message out there. How we treat women reflects on us. And if we want them to stop saying all men, we need to make sure that we try and rule this out to such an extent that actually women learn that it isn't all men. And that they're okay and that they feel safe. That's what this is about, guys. We've got to make women feel safe. That's standing away from them in elevators, not going and sitting behind them or next to them on the train when there's only us in the carriage with them. It's crossing the road when you're walking behind them, or you see a woman walking towards you down a street at night. Cross the road, get out of their way, demonstrate you are not a threat. But we have to take this on board, guys, because until we do, it is all men.
Hey there. So, 3 minutes doesn't seem enough to cover this, but I want y'all to understand why women say it's all men. This is just a small portion, and I know it'll be backwards because TikTok's like that, so you have to pause and figure it out. But I say pause, take a screenshot, and flip it. Because this is just a small portion of the horrific sexual assaults that have happened to me in my life. Just a small portion of them. Starting at 5 years old. Yeah, starting at 5 years old. Short version, at 5, my parents' roommate tried to molest me, and my dad put down the, I'm the man of the house, and he gets to he gets to stay here until he can stand on his feet. So I had to live in fear of this roommate of my parents who assaulted me, or tried to anyway, because, he deserved a chance to get on his feet. Between 6 and 8, a family friend started molesting me and my friends, and he would do it in the middle of picking us up. He'd grope us. And he used it as an excuse. I'm just picking him up. I'm clumsy. And people believed that and gave him the benefit of the doubt. Even though us children were coming to them saying this makes us uncomfortable. He's grabbing us in private places. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to believe it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Not him. He's a family friend. Okay. At 11 is when men started trying to pick me up from the bus stop. Yeah, blatantly propositioning me for sex, trying to get me to come into their car, all that. Yep. A neighbor guy accidentally flashed me twice. At around that age? Accidentally, yeah. And everybody believed him that it was an accident. Yeah, except for you don't just go around accidentally flashing people. Especially an 11-year-old girl who lives next door. But sure, they believed him. Between 12 and 14 is when my father started drugging me and raping and molesting me. It was apparent, it was obvious, and no one did a damn thing about it. At 15, a man tried to kidnap me leaving the hospital. Following me, stalking me with his vehicle, cutting me off, cutting my route off, trying to literally grab at me. And he didn't buzz off until, I think it was a doctor, came out of the hospital and happened to just be walking by and gave him a look. And then he finally buzzed off after realizing there was a witness to this. When I was 16, a 23-year-old groomed me. Yep. that went on for a while. Oh, and yeah, my parents consented, you know. Oh, and I got essayed regularly at concerts. I got sexually assaulted by a friend that I thought I knew really well around 17. I was told at jobs that I could get better leads, do better on the job if I just gave the boss a BJ. At 18, I was discouraged from joining the military even though I had spent 4 years in ROTC because I was already a victim of sexual assault and they seen me as an easy target and knew that there was a possibility then it'd only be covered up in the military. And this is just a few of them leading up to adulthood. I'll have to make a part 2.
Fellas, we're going to talk about all men. Now don't scroll, just hear me out. All men is bullshit because it's not true, right? There are good guys out there. I'm a good guy. You're a good guy. Why would I ever be lumped in with those other guys, right? Now, let me ask you a very, very pertinent question. Why don't you, as a man, open up and be vulnerable with other men? Well, that's not true, you say. I open up to other men. I have deep discussions. And maybe you do. But how many of those men that you open up to are people you just met? Or someone you haven't established trust with? Or someone you met through a friend? The point is, until you feel safe to do so, you wouldn't open up to just any guy that you came across, right? And why? Because they might judge you, they might call you a pussy, they might call you weak, a simp, a wimp, name it, right? They might shame you for being honest and give you shit because on whatever level, they're afraid to go there too. Now, why is this important? Because until you establish the awareness that someone will not judge, shame, or ridicule you for what you're going to share, you have to assume all men. Well, typically, guys are going to act this way. So why would I take a risk that this one dude I come across is not going to act that way? Chances are you're not, so you wouldn't take that risk. So it has nothing to do with the assumption that all men actually do that. And it has everything to do with the assumption that because you don't know, you have to err on the side of caution and assume that this guy is going to give you shit for whatever you're going to be honest about. You are doing it to protect yourself, not to shit on him. Now, what does all of this have to do with women saying all men? The point is, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about their need to protect themselves from their lack of knowledge, their lack of awareness of whatever guy they're coming to. Cops do a traffic stop. They have to assume someone is armed until they prove otherwise. Why? Safety. Yeah, but cops and life and death, that's not the same thing as in relationships. For us as men, you're correct. It's more bruised ego or feeling embarrassed. It's emotionally based. For women, it actually is life and death. Now, is that true across the board? Of course not, but they have to assume it is to protect themselves. So why is it all men for women? Because it's all men for men too.
Women have been taught their entire lives that it's all men. They're just starting to say it out loud. Women are taught to keep an eye on each other's drinks, taught to carry mace or tasers or hidden weapons when they go on jogs or runs. Women text each other when they go on dates to make sure that they haven't been unalived. Do me a favor, Google men unalived on a Tinder date. You tell me who's really at risk. My wife was just catcalled the other day in a parking lot, and she was followed by a moving vehicle with a man inside, and she wasn't sure if she was just being sexually harassed or if it was a human trafficker. Women are taught to dress a certain way in public so that if a crime is committed against them, they are not blamed for the crime the man committed. Women are sexualized at an extremely young age. They are subjected to painful sex. They are mocked for demanding clear consent. They are denied their reproductive rights. Marital rape wasn't even defined in the U.S. until the 1970s, and that essentially gave men complete ownership of women's bodies as if it was their property. And also, not even mentioning the countless times women are groped on the subway, have their asses slapped by a passerby, are pursued or followed home, are asked out repeatedly and given unwanted attention by a man that makes them feel threatened because of all of the above. Or how many women just don't report things because they won't be taken seriously or because they initially gave consent and then things escalated or changed and they were worried that they would be blamed or that they would be put in more danger because they were rejecting a man. As men, we've all had to face suspicious fathers, had our intentions questioned, worried about our sisters and who they date. They started talking about specific men during the Me Too movement, and many of us did nothing, or we defended ourselves. And then they started saying the quiet part out loud. And now we're having this debate instead of helping. If 97% of women are answering a survey saying that they feel like they are in danger of being assaulted, harassed, groped, or anything that makes them uncomfortable, that number is too high. I don't care if the number is not completely accurate. If it's even 80, 70, 60%, that's too high. So yes, all men have to talk about this. Yes, all men have to start taking accountability. Yes, all men have to start taking some responsibility for our actions and the actions of other men, because we need to think about what the hell is going on in our society where this is happening and how do we make it better. We need all men to care. When you have privilege, equality feels like oppression. You might feel like you're being put at risk, but women are at risk every single day. If you talk to some of the women in your life, you might find that out.
Let me break it down for you. When women say all men, they're not saying all males in our species. It's more like when they say, traffic is the worst. You know, it's not every road, every day, but it's a problem that is so common that it feels like a safe bet. For a lot of women, dealing with the uncomfortable, dismissive, and even dangerous behavior from men isn't a rare experience. It's not a rare event, it's a pattern. So, over time, generalizing becomes the best way to talk about it, because you don't want to qualify every sentence when you're talking to another guy and say, some men, not you, but some men. So it's self-protection, because when something happens so often, you start assuming it could happen again. You have to protect yourself. So when you hear it, don't take it personally. Instead of saying, not all men, because yeah, we know that. Try listening. The real message isn't about blame. It's about asking for a world where those patterns stop repeating. The best way to show that you're not part of the problem is to be part of the solution. You're welcome.
Why I don't feel the need to say it's not all men. I don't feel the need to say it's not all men because it's enough men. The man versus bear debate that was happening a couple months ago is a prime example. Not everybody that has been close to a bear has been attacked. However, you don't want to spend an obnoxious amount of time close to that bear because they're known to attack people. I explained it to my mom not too long ago. Why would you want to be in an enclosed space with something that is known to be vicious? The patriarchy isn't something women made up. Men have spent decades brutally killing women, essaying women, disrespecting women, using women for their own personal gain. So sure, yeah, it's not all men, but it's a fuck ton of you. It is a fuck ton of men. And I personally would rather be safe than sorry. I would rather come off as a bitch and entitled and stuck up than possibly be your next victim. Men are our only natural predators. As humans, we already sit at the top of the food chain. But on the food chain specifically, only men sit atop women. So for my safety, it is all men. I love you. Bye.
Saying that it's not all men is insensitive, inconsiderate, and it invalidates the experience of all the victims who've faced abuse at the hands of their perpetrator. I'll give you an analogy and a metaphor to illustrate the point that I'm trying to exemplify here. Let's say you have a 3-year-old who you're out and about with at the park. You took them to the park to play with other kids. And you guys are playing, they're playing with the other kids and whatnot, and for a brief moment you look at your messages and respond to your messages. While you're responding to your messages, another kid shoves your kid to the ground. Now your kid is coming toward you, running, crying, and they show you their scrape on their knee. They're bleeding, they have a wound, they have a cut. The right response in that moment would be for you to hug them, make them feel safe, soothe them, and comfort them. And then you go talk to the child's parent who shoved your child onto the ground and let them know what their kid did. You do everything in your power to make your child feel as safe as possible. Put a band-aid on their wound. You do anything in your power to make them feel safe. Now, the wrong response would be to tell your kid, well, look, not every kid is going to do that to you. Not every kid is a bully. I wasn't a bully when I was your age. You see how invalidating that is? How inconsiderate and how insensitive it is toward their experience, now what's going to happen is your child is not going to trust you anymore because they know that you're not a safe space. Similarly, the same exact thing happens when a woman is talking about her experiences of SA or her experiences of abuse, and a man comes onto that space and hits her with the, well, it's not all men. Not every man is going to do that to you. Now she knows you're someone who can't be trusted because you're not providing a safe space for her. And granted, I know that women are not children. There's no comparison there. I'm very well aware of that. I'm simply using this metaphor to exemplify the point that when you don't provide a safe space for someone talking about their experiences in terms of SA or abuse, they're going to look at you just like every other man. The very first thing a woman is going to do is not trust you when she hears you say that, oh, it's not all men. I've never done that. I know many men who have never done that. Not every man is going to do that to you. Imagine you telling your child that. Your child is not going to feel safe around you anymore. Instead of getting mad at women, just sit there and listen to what they have to say. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to give an opinion if it's not asked. You don't have to judge. You don't have to do anything but sit there and listen. And just listening in and of itself creates a safe space to some extent. She's going to see that you're not lashing out defensively, because a lot of men, when they hear shit like this, oh, well, I've never done that. Oh, I'll never do that. That just invalidates her experience, and now she sees that you're someone who can't be trusted.
If you still don't understand the term all men, this is a genuine explanation. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, no, whatever. That's not this video. This is a genuine explanation if you truly just don't understand why people say that. For context, I'm addressing this like to a man, so if you're a woman listening to this, just for context. Imagine that your girlfriend or your wife or your sister or a, you know, young girl, and any woman that you care about, like, texts you and lets you know, like, hey, I'm heading home. It's not that far of a walk. I'm just gonna go ahead and walk home. Let's say this walk is half a mile, but it is downtown and it is dark at night, and we know that, you know, she's gonna be walking alone. So naturally, you don't want your sister or your girlfriend or any woman you care about walking home alone in the dark at night by themselves. Why? Why don't you want that? The answer is most likely because there could be crime. She could get mugged. She could get kidnapped. She could, you know, there could be a shooting. There could be this. There could be that, blah, 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 blah. When you picture those events potentially happening, just like without thinking about it too hard, just like if your fear that you imagine, the whole reason you don't want this person to walk home by themselves, what kind of person do you imagine shooting them, robbing them, kidnapping them, whatever? Do you picture a woman or do you picture a man committing those crimes? More likely than not, you pictured a man. And this, like, isn't to say it's not possible for a woman to commit these crimes, but who do we expect and who statistically is most likely to commit those crimes? Men. And that's why the term all men is a thing. Even though they're good men, I love my boyfriend, I love my brother, I love so many male family members, I know they wouldn't do those things. But if I didn't know my boyfriend or I didn't know my brother and I saw them walking down the street and I was alone by myself at night, I would keep as much distance from them as I possibly could, because I don't know if they're a threat or not. And that is why we say all men. I hope that makes sense. The term all men should not offend you. And if it does, you clearly aren't grasping what I've just laid in front of you.